106.7 Kroq is KROQ. It's Kevin and Bean Show at 9:23.
Musician, singer, actor, artist, Marilyn Manson.
Icon.
I forgot our icon. In studio with us right now on the Kevin and Bean Show. The new record will be called The Pale Emperor.
Yes, sir.
Which is coming on January the 20th, 2015. A lot has changed since the last time you put a record out in the world of rock music.
Except my underwear.
Okay.
No,
Didn't need to know that.
Go ahead.
We were talking to, just not to drop names, compared to how it used to be.
I don't feel the same way, but I just saw him and...
yeah, you guys played together.
Yeah, we did. Actually, he liked my song Third Day of a 7-Day Bid so much that he wanted to do it as an encore, and I did Ava Adore, which was the song where the last time I saw Billy was probably 15 years ago, and he said, you need to be more musical. When I did Mechanical Animals, I said, you need to wear more makeup. That's true story.
So you improved each other.
Well, yeah, we had a thing, and it really, we had a great friendship, and I think it was severed by some strongly worded letter he said about Rose McGowan at the time, whoever she is. But no,
at the time you do. But.
So we ran into each other, and it was almost as if no time had passed.
But it's nice to bury those hatchets. There's no reason to carry
there was
grudge
no
over.
hatchet.
But I mean, I'm just saying,
no, I didn't. You know, when you're with someone, you sort of have to defend them.
Sure.
That's, it's the way you do it.
It's a gentlemanly thing to do.
If you're macho.
Yeah.
But I never had a grudge against, but I just haven't really...
Did you have the knife back then? Did you have that knife?
I did not have the gold thumb-assisted.
Thumb-assisted. Sorry.
So why
Utility
are you
knife.
more optimistic than he is about unleashing new music into the world? Because it seems
I
like
don't know.
back when you
I
and
didn't know that he was.
When you and I were growing up, though, it was a big deal when an album came out by a band that you loved, and you got it, and you bought it, and you played it a lot.
Yeah.
And now the music just comes and goes so fast, it's so fleeting, there's always a million other things right behind it, and it seems like nothing really settles like it used to, with very rare exceptions.
I think it's because people empty the bucket of mystery, as I call it, with Instagram and Twitter, and they're just constantly telling you things you don't really need to know. We were growing up, there was none of that. There was not, obviously, there wasn't the internet, but also there was you would listen to it, and you didn't think about what they did that day, or what relationship they were in, or what was going on in their life, or what scandal. It was way before celebrity existed, even though, in essence, Marilyn Manson is a commentary on celebrity with Marilyn Monroe and Charles Manson and all that. It sort of has a way of making itself come full circle, but at the same time, I think it evens the playing field. I think it's a better time to put out a new record.
It evens the playing field, but it makes people who don't have your career almost equal to you. And
if you have the attitude where you think, when I meet people, I don't expect them to know what I did yesterday, let alone 10 years ago. I don't expect people to know. When people started to think that I wrote Sweet Dreams, which I didn't, obviously Dave Stewart did.
Right.
I didn't expect anyone after that.
It's a great version of that.
Well, thank you. Well, they know me, obviously. Probably my greatest hits was Columbine, and just being known,
right,
in a different way.
But you feel like you're starting with scratch with a new audience every time you put out a record, then?
Yeah, I think it's less. It's arrogant to be. I mean, to be arrogant is to be very ignorant in this era. I think you put up music that you think is great for the same reasons you did when you put out your first record.
Right.
And without that era of everybody loves to put out their new record and talk about how great it is and how they made a change and how this is their whatever. And I'm aware of that. It's painfully aware of it because of being a journalist prior to this musical endeavor. But this record was simpler for me because I finally figured out what rock and roll was about, the blues, which goes back to Elvis and goes back to Robert Johnson. That's why it has the whole... going back when we were talking about David Lynch off there, I Put a Spell on You was very much the blues with Screaming Jay Hawkins and CCR. A lot of people have done that. And I lived in New Orleans. I lived in Florida. I haven't lived in Mississippi or Kentucky, but I think I covered the general
You got the
vicinity
got the area
of it. But I never really got first of all, the musicality of it, how to play it, and I never got the point of it. It's one person telling a story that everyone can identify with. It's the same chords, it's the same thing, it's just how you say it. So it's almost like Dewey Cox, Walk Hard. You just simply do what everyone else is doing, but you do it looking better, and you do it with confidence, and you do it without, you just own who you are.
Yeah.
You own it.
And there are...
Yeah, and I wasn't even trying to, there was no point where I said, I'm going to make a blues record.
Gotcha.
I went in the studio with Tyler Bates, which I've always tried to make a record that was cinematic sounding. And via Californication, I met Tyler Bates, who scored the biggest, soundtrack of the year with Guardians of the Galaxy, 300, The Watchmen, many other things. And we just sat down about his, arm, touch our fingers far away. And he had the guitar, and I sat down and started singing, and it just happened. And any way I describe it's going to sound like a homosexual pornographic film. So I'm not going to go into. It seemed to there was a connection that was different.
Did you touch penises?
No.
Okay. All right, then you're cool. Then you're fine.
No, I mean, that doesn't necessarily make it a homosexual pornographic film.
Oh, it doesn't?
No one's filming.
Then I misunderstood how homosexual pornographic films work. In recent years on tracks, streaming tracks, or singles versus a whole album, did that have any impact on how you put the thing together? Or is it still a cohesive statement start to finish like you do sometimes?
No, this one was very concisely a story, and The Pale Emperor comes from a book that was a biography of Antonin Artaud, and I'm saying it in the most American accent I could possibly say because I don't want to sound pretentious, although I can sound redneck. I just want to get the word red tattooed on my neck. A French writer that wrote about Heliogabalus.
You don't have to tell Kevin.
I don't know what you're talking about. Honestly, I don't know what you're talking about.
It was pre-Caligula.
Okay.
Not the movie. The
real thing.
It was the first Roman emperor. Youngster.
You're going to have to dumb it. I think you're going to have to dumb it down for me.
I'm dumb it down.
Was it Beavis or was it Butthead?
The first guy that denied God and used to cut up the peasants in the middle of the street and have wine poured on it and say, "Here, drink from it." And he was very pale. They called him the Pale Emperor. So I said, well, that sounds pretty appropriate.
We have learned a little something here.
There you
That
go.
was interesting.
Google it.
All right. Don't have to now.
You're smart, Manson. You know that?
I got a little bit.
I want to hear a little piece of Deep Six. What's the deal on this? This is the new single, right? Just came out this morning, available tomorrow on iTunes.
Yes, this song, I don't know, 4 years or so, I lived in a strange apartment with none of my belongings in it, but I purchased a new home, and it did have a incinerator in the backyard and a garden. No, that I said Deep Six. It's with a shovel. It's an implied threat.
Right. All of Manson's stories, you feel like there's another 1,000 pages behind it that you want to hear, don't you?
And that's why you're making the song. I think that's the thing about the song. If you explain the song too much, it lets the person tell that thousands of pages.
If you're like us on the Kevin and Bean Show who complain that there's not enough music that rocks, get a load of this. That sounds great.
Thank you.
Very clean production, too. Crisp.
Okay.
I don't know what he means by that either.
I'm not very clear
Just
on that
sounds,
either.
everything sounds sharp and
when Manson talks, I'm confused. When Bean talks, I'm confused.
Well, I have a concussion.
I have a broken toe.
You have a broken toe.
Maybe what if...
We're playing hurt here, Kevin.
Sorry.
it could have been related. I did not.
We don't
take
know,
it
man.
You could have. Who knows what happened? But as far as the production, the guy who mixed the record, Robert, he has 4 Latin Grammy Awards. But more importantly, he's an astrophysicist prior to mixing the record.
Well, of course he is. Why wouldn't he be?
Well, why would you not
And
want
thank
that
God
guy?
you got the guy with all the Latin Grammys, man. You know what you're doing.
I don't really know what that really applies to.
I don't either.
I didn't know that, but when he said he was an astrophysicist and we started speaking about things in a esoteric or whatever sense, I'll just,
I bet you have the best
I might-
dinner parties.
Dinner party?
I bet you do.
I bet you have a dinner table.
I bet you have. All right, so
He
maybe
didn't
you're
even
sitting-
have any stuff in his apartment
Yeah.
for 4 years.
But no, but I bet the
insane.
group of people that you bring together for parties or dinners, I bet it is fascinating conversation.
You trying to get into name drop is what you're
No,
trying.
no, I'm not at all.
So
No,
get
it's-
invited.
it's- well, you know what I've tried to do is, and you're making me do it because this is a talk show sense,
Yeah.
is try not to talk as much because I tend to just talk too much during dinner parties. But I have a hard time eating in public because I'm talking too much. It also keeps me soberish. I said the word-
Soberish.
Yeah, because I'm talking too much to drink, so I forget.
It feels
I
like
need like an IV drip.
It
just so I
feels
can
like
talk.
sober is a complete word, and ish doesn't really go with sober.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
All right.
No, it does. Just like
Okay.
Polish, because I'm Polish.
We are out of time.
Different.
Manson, we're out of time.
Okay, all right.
The Pale
See how he does
Emperor
that?
is your 9th album. Did you
Is it?
ever, before we say goodbye, did you ever imagine?
Wow.
Because you got staying power at this point.
Yeah, I have stamina.
Yeah.
I think that let's put it simply, this record is sticking to the story, which is very Robert Johnson, Faust, whatever, selling your soul to the devil to become famous as a rock star. I think that there's been a few years where I've been hearing me not answering the door, pay the devil's due, this is my payment, this record. To the fans, to me, to whatever's inside me, to whomever, it's my payback for what maybe I got arrogant enough to think that I did not have to pay back the devil his due, and this is payment. Checks in the mail.
Well, let me just say, welcome back, my friend.
Thank you.
Great to see you.
Thank you, man.
All this week on K-Rock.